Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome to the bonus bonanza of Final Fantasy II. Yeah, we're pretty much here to... well, okay, we don't really have much left of the game to show off, except for a few things here in the extras menu. You kind of saw me fiddling with this in part 1, but yeah, in the meantime, we're gonna have a look at the art gallery. Oh, yes, we're here to adore some fanciful works of art by long-time series artist Yoshitaka Amano, and yeah, pretty much just giving the rundown on both not only some of the logo designs that, you know, he was famous for designing throughout the series, but also his artwork, which, well, I mean, again, as you're seeing right here, does indeed have its own unique style about it. I mean, not really too... again, I don't really know enough about art to really detail what sort of style this is, but, yeah. Needless to say, like, I mean, again, the guy is definitely good at what he does, and, again, it's very stylized and, quite cool looking. I mean, again, you can pause the video if you want to get, like, a better look at these pieces of artwork, or, I don't know, I suppose, buy the game for yourself, or... I don't know, I suppose you could probably just as easily find these things on Google Images, I suppose, but, I don't know. Either way, just giving you a bit of the skinny on all these different character profiles, and you are going to be seeing that, well, I mean, simultaneously, I suppose something you could consider one of the more unique things about Yoshitaka Amano's artwork, or maybe something you might consider to be a flaw, is that, yeah, he does have very character designs, but the thing of it is that a lot of them tend to vary heavily, so... yeah, that pretty much meant that a lot of the sprite designers, again, when they weren't working with the, you know, basic sort of Final Fantasy stuff, pretty much took, like, I guess, the art design of one that they considered best and pretty much went with that. Like, that's meant to be Guy right there. A very different looking design compared to the guy that we see in the game itself, so, yeah, it seems it's, well, again, some kind of stay the course, like Leon and Minwu right there, but then again, some artwork is meant to be more a suggestion as opposed to, well, I guess maybe a full-out sprite for the designers, especially during the NES days when it would have been very difficult for them to, you know, really sort of get to grips with what sort of characters they were designing. Like, again, like, I mean, Gordon and, you know, Layla look pretty on-brand, it's just that some others tend to be a little bit, wow, man, what the fuck, you know? But yeah, I mean, there is a bit of debate between, you know, a lot of the character designing, ethos of certain people, because, I mean, again, there was the whole thing of, I mean, I guess maybe not so much these days, but again, the whole thing of, like, Tetsuya Nomura's art design versus, Yoshitaka Amano's. Again, I mean, I think both have, respect for each other's work, and both have designed, you know, each other's characters. You know, sealed so, Yoshitaka Amano having his own specific artworks of characters from, you know, Cloud Strife and Final Fantasy VII onwards. And, you know, vice versa with Tetsuya Nomura. I guess maybe Dissidia being the exception, where he designed characters like, you know, Warrior of Light through, you know, Furion, Onion Knights, you know, Cecil, Bartz, and Terra. But either way, that's, yeah, it's neither here nor there in this case. I mean, it is quite stylized. It's kind of weird in a way. Like, it's not quite anime, but at the same time, it's also not quite, well, cartoony, if that makes any sense. I don't know, it's a very unique style. I'm sure there is probably a design ethos that he probably does borrow from in terms of, you know, his years as an artist, but I mean, either way, I will say that, you know, the man does have a lot of talent, and, again, I'm not really too sure about the man's age. I know he is getting up there in years, but I think he's, Yoshitaka Amano is, like, in his, like, 70s or 80s by now, so, fucking oath, man. I'm pretty sure he's still alive, but, God, it's, oh, man. The years continue passing on by, and, yeah, I think for the longest time he was very much one who was, staffed on to pretty much spearhead, like, most of the artwork duties in this stage. Unless I'm mistaken, there might have been another artist, but these seem to be a lot of Amano's work. Which you can sort of tell in terms of design ethos, because I think starting from Final Fantasy IV is, it was either Final Fantasy IV or V, which had Tetsuya Nomura take over the monster designing duties, and then with Final Fantasy VI, he finally got his hand into a bit of character design with, you know, the likes of Setsu and Shadow, so, yeah. But I mean, even still though, like, yeah, not really too much to complain about. Great art design, and, yeah, what you're hearing right now, actually, if you can slightly hear it over my waffling commentary, is, well, again, the rearranged version of the Final Fantasy II theme. Yeah, but since this is technically running on NES logic, it doesn't exactly have, like, any particular sort of, like, you know, second verse melodies or that kind of thing. It's pretty much just sort of, like, I want to say it was based on, like, certain arpeggios, but, yeah. Later Final Fantasy games, I believe, starting from either 3 or 4 onwards, would later build upon that melody, but again, there is at least, Final Fantasy as a tradition of a series will pretty much, play upon different elements of that, typical melody and, create some unique variations out of it. Oh dear, that's, that's very Snow White in terms of, the design for the sorcerer. And the Lamia Queen. Oh, Firion, you poor soul. Forever stuck in the shadow of that Lamia Queen, trying to take your precious virginity. Oh, Final Fantasy II, it was a fun ride, and I will miss you, as I will miss you. And then there's Beelzebub, Astaroth, and of course the Emperor. Oh, what an adventure we've had. I mean, again, I will say that, Final Fantasy II is kind of missing a trick by not getting the remake treatment, but then again, who knows how much of the story would be retained, how much would be changed, and, well, I don't know. Either way, it's a fun game, but yeah, here's also where you can pretty much listen to the full game soundtrack. And again, you can switch between the two of them. You can either listen to the original NES variant, or the remastered soundtrack that I'm sort of playing bits and pieces and snippets of here, but excuse me. Yeah, it's, it's very much something where you can pretty much flip to and fro from either when you're playing the game yourself or just listening to from here, and, to kind of talk about the arranged soundtrack, I mean, it is some pretty good stuff. I think it did actually have, Nobuo Uematsu's involvement, so, yeah, it's based upon his work, and, you get the full-on orchestral version of his, soundtrack, so quite frankly, yeah. I mean, again, if you're a fan of orchestral music, you should pretty much be as sound as a pound. And again, it does also incorporate a few other elements here and there, depending on the game. Like, I mean, you get a bit of guitar thrown in there, you get a bit of, ambience, so, yeah, it's all good in the hood, dude. But yeah, not really too much else to say apart from that, really. Apart from that cute little animation where you pretty much have some of the characters just, whistling the tunes, going around, talking to other characters, and, just sort of dancing, really. Whee! Lolly-ho! Woohoo! Kupo, Kui, Chocobo, whatever. And speaking of Chocobos, yeah, the Chocobo theme. Let's have a dance with Princess Hilda, just like how we danced in the ballroom. It does actually, again, to kind of talk about that actually, is well, we kind of get closer to it, like, I mean, again, there are a few pieces that are actually based on some, exterior music, like, again, I think one of the musical pieces, I think it was either when Firion was being, hypnotized by the bloody Lamia Queen, was, using a bit of Swan Lake, and, yeah, like, the sort of waltz music that was playing, right before the Emperor rose back from hell. I don't know, the sort of music that you can typically tend to get away with, and that's, in the public domain. I mean, I know for a fact that a game like, I think it was Catherine actually ended up doing that by pretty much taking, like, public domain, like, orchestral music, but then just adding a few instruments in and calling it a day. But then again, that's Atlas for you. They can pretty much take, like, a basic sort of economy package game development kit and pretty much make wonders out of it. Which is probably part of the reason why Sega ended up picking them up when they did, but, hey ho, Pip and Dale. Seems to have worked out for them so far. Ah, yes, but, yeah, to kind of talk about the arranged music in and of itself, it does also contain a few additional battle themes, particularly one that I mentioned at the end of the commentary where, again, the Emperor pretty much gets his own, boss battle theme, so, yeah. I mean, a lot of them are pretty much based on pre-existing tracks from Final Fantasy II, but I guess they might have added one or two more in there just to, sort of pep up the encounters, for lack of a better phrase. But yeah, anyway, this is, the Bestiary. Now, again, this is pretty much the functional... Well, again, you can technically check these in all of the other different versions of the Pixel remasters, but, yeah, this would later be fulfilled in later Final Fantasy games by the function, Scan, where you pretty much... Again, you pretty much have an enemy, you take a look at what it's all about, and, you pretty much see, its weaknesses, whether physical damage, elemental weaknesses, like, say, for example, oh, it's a lizard enemy, use ice, because reptiles, cold-blooded, freeze them to death. Or, something else like, oh look, it's a bomb enemy. Shit, what the hell are we gonna do? Oh, I know, I'll use fire to set this fucker alight. So on and so forth. Again, you do also get, bits and pieces, like what their stats are, what sort of items they drop, and, you know, how much money they're worth for each enemy killed, so, yeah, overall not too bad. That being said, though, this is also heavily dependent upon whether or not, you know, you actually encounter these enemies in specific areas, so, you know, well, kind of fitting that I showed it right there. Kind of fitting in a way with the whole Iron Giant enemy, you need to make sure that you encounter enemies in a specific area if you want to complete the bestiary, which I believe in, you know, the Pixel Remaster ports is worth at least a trophy, so, yeah. Oh dear, we're fighting a boss, but we're not ready yet. Run away, flee, end the battle that ended my life. But yeah, to kind of talk turkey about what you can also do in the bestiary is that you can actually, yeah, choose to fight enemies that you've already encountered. You can change their formation, reduce the number, or improve the number based upon how much you want to face, and yeah, I'll give you a chance to hear a bit of the regular battle theme as we take on the Leg Eaters and Hornets. Because God knowing the Kingdom of Finn has a fucking reptile and bug problem. But yeah, you'd also get a nice orchestral rendition of, you know, your Overworld theme and everything else, and, everything is epic now as we chase our way down. But yeah, I mean, I opted to go with the NES soundtrack just for, you know, the sake of paying homage to the game's original tracks, but, yeah, I figured, you know, if nothing else, let this little section be a bit of a tribute to the rearranged score that, I suppose does kind of pump you up in a bit of a different way compared to, other aspects of Final Fantasy II and the, well, you know, I guess the orchestral instruments giving it a little bit more extra oomph than 8-bit sounds could ever really do, but yeah, this is the Bloodsword method of taking out the Emperor. You don't really need to use magic at all, you can pretty much just use the Bloodsword, and holy fuck, look at how much bloody damage that took off. Yeah, Osmos and Drain are also great abilities to use, but let me tell you, like 2 or 3 hits on the Bloodsword and this guy goes down like a total punk. See, look, he even has like the most powerful version of Flare, and it does nothing to us. Here, we shall use the Bloodsword again, and that's the end.